Today, in the town of David, a Saviour has been born to you. Today, tonight, once in the past, but not just in the past, way back when. Today, tonight, this birth, the presence, the grace and power of this birth, the beauty and truth and goodness of this birth, the presence of Jesus is renewed every Christmas. It's renewed every time we say, Jesus, I believe in you. Jesus, I trust you. Jesus, I love you. Today, tonight. Caesar Augustus issued a decree. Well, we've had many decrees issued to us this year, not for a worldwide census, but for a worldwide something else. And everyone went to his own town. Well, that's a little bit familiar. We are all suddenly back home with many plans undone. But what happened under the Roman Imperium and what is happening now is all put in its place by what happens in the stable and among the animals. It's just background, it's just circumstance, it's a kind of frame, it's rather like the weather. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. This is what counts and what puts everything in its place. Well, if you hear a good story, it's worth telling it once, and if it's worth telling it once, it's maybe worth telling it twice. So I don't apologize too much if you've heard this one before. But centuries ago, there was a Jewish rabbi. His name was Isaac, and he lived in the town of Krakow. And 3 times he had a dream that there was a treasure waiting for him by the royal bridge in Prague. So off he went. It was a long walk. And then he got to Prague and he couldn't get near the bridge. It was guarded by soldiers, no access. Every day he'd walk up and down near the bridge, but the soldiers would shoo him away. And after this had gone on for a while, he was very persevering, the captain of the guard asked him, what are you doing? So the rabbi, a simple man, told him about the dream. And the captain of the guard, when he heard it, laughed and said, "Oh, don't be ridiculous. You don't want to believe in dreams like that. Let me tell you, I had one of those once. I had a dream that there was a Rabbi Isaac in Krakow, and that underneath his stove was a great treasure. Well, do you think I would go all the way to Krakow and, there'll be any number of Rabbi Isaacs there? And do you think I'm going to go into his house and say, can I look under your stove? No, you forget all about your dream." So Rabbi Isaac walked all the way back to Krakow, dug under his stove, and found the treasure at home under the stove. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, born and given. The treasure is there. Our heart is a stable, our faith is a Mary to welcome the child, and our love the power with which we wrap him in swaddling clothes, and the child is ours. Now the shepherds, to our knowledge, weren't especially holy, weren't especially anything, just ordinary working people whose conversation must largely have been about their sheep, their families, and what a rotten government they had, until the angels interrupted, until the noise of a crying newborn child broke the night. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and everything falls into place. Now everything is reconfigured. Now we don't actually have to go looking for what will make us happy. It has arrived. We don't have to be desperate to get things or defend ourselves or be approved of. We don't have to be desperate about all the things we are desperate about. We don't even have to agonize about finding the truth. We don't actually have to sin anymore. The treasure is under the stove, wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. It's there. It's here. Truth has sprung up from the earth, born of the Virgin. We just have to take him into our arms. We're freed of so much tonight. We can leave so much baggage at the stable door. The freer our hands, the fitter they are for holding this child. And what frees us is this: we are infinitely loved, irreversibly loved. No negotiations are needed, no deals. There is no distancing on God's part, no masking, no necessary sanitizing. How many barriers we put up. Here's a God who is a defenseless baby, born in poverty and need to answer our need with the wealth of his love. That's what makes everything else fall into place. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. We are infinitely, irreversibly loved. The one whom the eternal Father eternally, infinitely, irreversibly loves, his beloved co-eternal Son, God from God, is now man from a woman and laden with all this love under the stove, in the manger, today, tonight, welcomed by Mary and Joseph, there to warm and feed us. Tonight, today, he who is the great and eternal day came from that great and endless day of eternity into our own short day of time, our little lives, to lift them into God's eternal today. And everything else falls into place, and we as well. We are home, and in the place where God was homeless, all men, all people are at home. Like the rabbi, all we have to do is turn round and head home for the treasure. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given.